Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the AMC Project Popcorn YouTube channel. My name is Ethan, and today we're publishing the 7th video in the Daniel Meyer Transmittal Affidavit series. In this video, we're taking a brief pause from the Daniel Meyer Transmittal Affidavit to focus on something just as critical: AMC's market cap, stock price action, ATM offerings, and the major deals that were made in sequence during the height of the meme stock phenomenon. By walking through these events step by step, we'll break down the financial dynamics and help you better understand how AMC moved relative to stock price and market cap, what those deals meant, and how they shaped the trajectory of the stock during this historic run. So I think in Daniel Meyer's Series 3, we went over Adam Aron's monologue during one of his meet and greets. And during his monologue, he stated, which was factually not true, that there were 100 million shares outstanding on January 27, 2021. And during that video, which I'm going to do over again today, I showed you the amount of ATMs that were done and how it was not factually true. It was impossible for 100 million shares to be outstanding on January 27, 2021. What Adam Aron did tell us is that there were 50 million shares owned by a Chinese company, and that company was Wanda. And then in that series, I also pulled up an SEC filing, which showed that in August of 2020, AMC already had 100 million shares outstanding. So how is it possible, mathematically possible, that Adam Aron's monologues is true, that we had 100 million shares on January 27, 2021? And in fact, it wasn't. So let's go focus on this Excel sheet, and we'll go over critical information. So on August in 2020, there were a little over 109 million shares outstanding. And AMC was, according to the charter, could issue and authorize the most was 524 million shares. Now, in that SEC filing, I showed you that the breakdown of the 109 million shares. 51 million share, a little over 51 million shares was Common B, which was owned by Wanda, and Common A, there were a little over 57 million shares. Okay, now and we went over, I think, maybe Series 3 or Series 4, what's the difference between Common A and Common B with respect to voting? Since Wanda owned 51 million shares of Common B, they controlled the company. And how so? Because Common B, if there was a vote, each share that they owned, they would get 3 votes per share. If you own Common A, you would only vote you got 1 vote per share. So if you do the math in your head, if there was ever a vote on something, Wanda automatically controlled the outcome of that vote. Okay, so next we're going to go over how AMC was trading in 2020. What we're looking at here is AMC's chart. On the right side, on the vertical axis, you have share price. You got to divide that by 10 as a result of the reverse split in conversion in August of 2023. You now got to divide the prices on the right by 10. On the horizontal axis, you have the date. You also have the volume here. Here is the stock and the prices in candlestick form. So let's go to 2020. I think in video 1 and 2, the AI video told you the share price. Now we're going to look at it in a visual aspect through the chart. So in 2020, this is how AMC traded. This is January of 2020. You could see it traded sideways, like around $6.50 to the high of $7. And then in February, it traded down. Now this indicates that the stock came out with earnings, and when's the conference call? That's the feature that Thinkorswim provides. Then the stock traded sideways, then gradually went up a little bit. And then let's move quickly through. This is still 2020. We'll get to August. Now in August, we told you how many shares were outstanding. The equation for market cap is the amount of shares outstanding times the price. So you could see the stock gradually went up. That means the market cap went up. And we know there was 109 million shares outstanding. So you take the share price times the outstanding shares, and you get the market cap. Then the stock went down, went a high from around $7 down to a little over $2. And then there was that action with the ATMs around here, and they closed the year, the calendar year, for 2020 at the low of $2.12, which is indicated here. And this is now into 2021. So let's go back to the Excel sheet. All right, so we got August 2020. We have the market cap reflected in column B. Column C is the stock range. Column D is the amount of shares outstanding. E is the closing price. F is the ATMs. Column G is deals that were made. And then column H and I will give you the dynamic, or how Wanda's stake in AMC was liquidated during the course of 2020 into 2021. All right, so once again, August of 2020, we had 109 million shares, a little over 109 million shares outstanding. And the stock, as I showed you in the chart, traded from $4 range to $7. And once again, the equation is outstanding shares times stock price. And in August of 2020, AMC's market cap was around $655 million. Then we know that an ATM was done, so of 15 million shares. You add a little over 109 million shares plus 15 million, you get to a little over 124 million shares. And on September 24th, 2020, the stock closed at 461, giving it a market cap of $573 million. Then on October 20th, 2020, there was another 15 million share ATM that was done, increasing the outstanding float to 139 million shares, times it by the closing price of $3.09, giving AMC a market cap of a little over $430 million. Then November 10th, 2020, another ATM was completed for 20 million shares, increasing the outstanding shares to 159 million shares outstanding. Times that by the closing price of $351, you get a market cap of a little over $559 million. And then the key date is December 11th, 2020. There was an ATM as well as a deal with Mudrick. In December of 2020, AMC made an application or filed with the SEC to reserve 200 million shares to do an ATM. They registered 200 million shares to do an ATM. They were successful in completing a little over 40 million shares, and they also made a deal with Mudrick for 22 million shares, which then causes the shares outstanding to go from 159 million, a little over 159 million shares, to a little over 222 million shares. Thus, the market cap on December 11th, 2020 was a little over $871 million. And then with the 200 million shares that was registered, with a little over 40 million executed, the rest was carried over into 2021, which was 137 was completed in early or mid-January 2021, causing the outstanding float to go over 359 million shares. Then on January 25th, 2021, there was another 50 million ATM that was completed, resulting in the outstanding shares to be around 409 million shares, as well as January 27, 2021. There was 409 million shares, a little over 409 million shares. Now, during that series 3, I tabulated or calculated a little over 389 million shares, which we forgot to incorporate the deal that was done with Mudrick in December, so it was an extra 22. So with the volatility on January 27, 2021, as you recall, the stock gapped up from $4.97 and traded up to 20, closed at $19.90. The market cap jumped to $8.1 billion. And then after that, as you recall, during that Series 3, Adam Aaron and the board convened a special meeting on January 27, 2021, and requested to authorize another 500 million shares, doubling up the float, doubling up the authorized shares. As we recall, we discussed earlier, AMC was authorized to issue a little over 524 million shares. Adam Aaron wanted to add another 500, making it a little over a billion shares to have either available or to issue. So what else happened on January 27th? Because of the volatility, what's it called? Silver Lake exercised um, their debt, converted their debt into shares, and then sold. And as a result of that transaction, a deal that was made with AMC and Wanda, if that transaction would occur with with Silver Lake and the other investor, it would activate or trigger the contract that they had with Wanda with AMC. So we're going to focus our attention now to column H and I. So as a result of that transaction with Silver Lake, part of the deal that AMC had with Wanda, that Wanda would have to give up 5.6 million shares, a little over 5.6 million shares of their common B, give it up. So that's what happens. So they start off with 51 on January 29th or 27th into the 29th. Once the transaction settled, their amount of shares or stake in AMC went down to 46, a little over 46 million shares. Now, on February 1st, 2021, Wanda converted all their common B to common A. So if you look at column H, the amount of shares stays the same, it's just converted. Now, also on February 1st, Wanda sold a little over 2 million shares. Thus, their stake went from 46 million down to 44 million, now common A. Now, it's important to understand, as the ATMs are being issued and they converted, they lost any control of the company in any vote or anything. All right, so now let's go to March 11th, which was the record date. I think Series 5 or Series 6, we focused on the vote. And I showed you through SEC filing that March 11th, 2021 was the record date, and AMC had to produce how many shares they had outstanding, which was 450 million shares, a little over 450 million shares outstanding of common A. And at that time, on that day, AMC closed at $10.28. So you do the math, that equates to 4.6 billion shares. Then we go to March 19th and March 20th. On those dates, Wanda sold respectfully 1.5 million shares and 12 million shares on those two dates, bring their stake down from 44 million down to a little over 30 million shares. Then we jump to April 27, 2021. And on that day, Adam Aron announced that they registered 43 million shares. And on that day, on April 27th, AMC's stock price closed at 11.46. You times it by the outstanding shares, you get a market cap of 5.1 billion. Then we jump to May 2nd. There's a filing here, and we get the information through AMC that their outstanding shares jumped a little bit over another 100,000. So we could be more accurate with this math. You could take a little 450 million shares, times it by 10,003 cents that it closed. You get a market cap of 4.5 billion on May 2nd. Then on May 13th, 14th, 17th, and 18th, Wanda continues to liquidate their position. They sold 95,000 shares on May 13th. They sold 4.1 million shares on May 14th. They sold 9 million shares on May 17th. They sold another 500,000 shares on May 18th, and they concluded holding only 10,000 shares left when they sold a little over 16 million shares again on May 18th. And that you could see over this SEC filing with AMC. You can see this is investor at amctheaters.com. It's the SEC filing. You can see AMC's emblem or their profile or their... Anyway, here you can see all their shares sold. And that, I took all that numbers and put it in an Excel sheet. If someone wants this SEC filing, let me know. I could incorporate it into the nest. All right, so as you can see now, Wanda's stake is 10,000 shares. Now let's move to June 2nd, which was the record date for the July 29th, 2021 vote. And this gives us the latest update, current or accurate, more accurate, with the numbers I have without SEC filing, with AMC filing SEC, making filings with the SEC. This is just incorporating the ATMs plus what was the current outstanding shares. Sometimes they might offer shares to employees. So this is 100% accurate as a result of a record date. So there was a little over 501 million shares. And mind you, this was the high the stock traded, $72.62. And the high of the market cap, plus or minus, was 36 billion on June 2nd, 2021. Now, on this day, June 2nd, 2021, Adam Aaron made a deal with Mudrick, giving them 8.5 million shares. And then the following day, we'll go into that in another video series, I think the 7th, but this is just information just to show you market cap analysis. Another deal was done, another ATM was done for 11.5 million shares, which increased the float to 513 million, and the stock closed at $56.68 on June 30th, giving the market cap of $29 billion. So that's it. One thing I just want to add and conclude with is, as a result of the APE and conversion reverse split, so many people are now referencing stock price and what they have to get to the high, but it's not the right way to look at it. You have to look at market cap because of the dilution and the dilution factor. You have to use market cap as a way to understand. So it's an apples to apples understanding of where the stock's trading right now. So you have to use this equation to figure it out. If you think the stake you own and you need add more shares, you think you have to go to $720 to get an accurate assessment where you would have to sell. It's not true. You would have to use market cap. Right now, I don't even know, maybe there's over 400 million shares, which is equivalent to 4.5 billion shares. In order to get a one-to-one comparison, that 4.5 billion shares has to be divided by the market cap of 36 billion to equate what $72.62 is really on the chart. We'll go into that more detail down the road, but hopefully people are understanding this. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. I might do another recap in the beginning of the next video. So anyway, thanks a lot. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, and if you have any questions, let us know in the comment section. Have a good night. Bye.